3-3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
The Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really lead that Rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. So he's gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh, 50 getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Soccer Fort is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio. That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Starting the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Eagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the 8? They get the 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, another wonderful season is upon us once more. Season 15 here in Console Gaming League CGL Overwatch. Coming to you once more. I'm joined today by Shadowfang. I am Hunter Jane, and it is the very first week. We're getting things going. Shadowfang, it's one of those opportunities where we're going to be able to see, obviously, a lot of existing talent throughout the last couple of seasons of CGL, but importantly as well, a lot of new talent coming through here and a ton of new teams as well, because some of these divisions are completely stacked, and I would personally say there is no more stacked division so far this season than the NA Open division.
Yeah, I mean, it usually is that way too. The Open Division, it just pulls in the most teams. Like, for instance, tonight we have the Glizzy Goats. I don't recognize most any of their players. It seems like they're UCLA's academy team, so that's like, okay, we pulled in some new players from there. And then we have the Demon Kittens, who are the exact opposite, which is mostly a bunch of CGL veterans. So a lot of names that we'll recognize from the side of Demon Kittens. And, you know, it's a good measuring stick to see where these teams are at, because Demon Kittens was like, I want to say like top 6, top 5 last year for the NA console open tier. So we'll see where they're going to stack up here against the Glizzy Goats.
Yeah, Dimmikin's got the top 6. Ended up getting taken out by Mental Institution, who, once again, is competing in the same division this season. So, could see a bit of a revenge match down the line. That is the nice little bright side we have. When we have situations like this, where we have kind of teams that have come back and tried to go ahead and take an opportunity at getting the title here. But Shadowfang, again, be a lovely week of matches. We already have quite a few matches throughout already. We got things started a little earlier this week, including with EU earlier today. But of course, Shadowfang, first and foremost, we need to get this match started rolling, get everything figured out, because a fun little thing has been added to CGL this season. And to be honest, I think it is a fantastic idea that this has come to the forefront.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We've started doing these hero bands now, and it's really good because, like, you know, I'm going to use a player from Demon Kittens as an example. Demon Kittens has this player, Ruby, on their team. You could target the Widowmaker knowing that Ruby is an elite level Widowmaker. I mean, I have a hard time believing that's what they would actually ban, but don't be surprised if we do see that at some point. You know, maybe it gets banned on Rialto later on at the end of our map pool. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, and of course, you gotta be a little selective with how you go with these picks, because you could go ahead and decide out the gate that this team is really strong at a very specific category, or it's more for a specific hero. Like, if you have someone who's really good at, let's just say the Castle, you know, you could ban that Cassidy out the gate, but you get a situation where Cassidy might be better for a different situation, and it might be worth banning later on, and you don't want to have a situation where, oh, you know, suddenly we want this character gone, and we're literally not able to. But bans are already starting to move along a little bit in this scenario right now, and I'm curious what Demonkins want to go for in this situation, as damage could be sealed off as well. Quite interesting.
All right, so that's fascinating. We had a Lucio and a May ban come through, so neither one of these teams like any anything to do with a rush composition. That's what I get out of this. Nobody wants to move quickly, unless of course you use the Juno speed ring. But there's a big difference between a Lucio constantly speeding you and a Juno speeding you with the cooldown every so often.
Yeah, so now the question is what the consequence look like in this situation. With the fact that it's may take it out in this situation, it is a scenario where obviously we'll kind of figure out what it's going to be. Because once again, this is a team that is very experienced, and while we're talking about that experience, let's look at that roster that we have kind of talked about. Again, that top 6 finish that happened in the last season, season 14, where they managed to actually have a pretty good run in the lower bracket. Of course, we're looking at Dragon and Reveroni on DPS, Chicano over on tank, and then Pick Pepper and Kylo on support. Most of these members did exist on that previous team, have had phenomenal performances, had a great regular season run for that matter. Now it's just a team that is hoping to replicate that level of success and try to push beyond that top 6. Top 6 is impressive in its own right, but you don't go into this not hoping to win it all.
No, absolutely. And this is a strong roster. We've seen them perform well over and over again every single season. And I'm not surprised to see the Lucio ban, because I would imagine Demon Kittens were going to run probably some sort of speed-based composition. A lot of teams have been running that Hazard with the Kiriko Lucio pretty recently. So getting rid of that as an option, you're probably forced to go like on a Brig or something to that effect. But in any case, now we can see the lineup for the side of the Glizzy Goats here tonight. And we're going to have Chingus Pingus on that DPS line. I would never forget that name. That's like my favorite name so far. Artistic Man on that on the DPS as well, with Owen, Jane, and Silent Storm on that support line.
Yeah, again, a team that isn't too seasoned when it comes to CGL as well, but we've been around long enough for Overwatch, and even Overwatch 2 in that point. You know, these players have got to come with some level of experience, especially if you're playing in the open tier like this. That's not a decision you take very lightly, so I'm hoping they want to come, make a good showing here, kind of get that impression, because if you come in as an unknown quantity and you come out and get a 3-0 to start out the season, people are going to start looking your way a little bit, going to start taking you a little more seriously, especially you get to manage to take down a previous top 6 finisher. I mean, that's a great way to start the season right there, if you can pull it off.
No, absolutely. It's a moment to really come out and prove yourself as the Glizzy Goats. And what better map to do it on than Lijiang Tower? You know, I really should have considered that when I saw the Mei and the Lucio get banned. You know, Lijiang, you could just run out and do the Reinhardt, do the Ram if you really wanted to. Now you kind of can't do that. That's no longer an option, so I guess that makes sense. You know, these teams are just kind of being the fun police, I guess. I'm a Ryan main, so I always like to see it, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is just kind of that situation.
Ready for battle.
Relatively fine in the situation. It's going to cause them to go a different way, and that way seems to be going down the ideology of the Juno, which, to be fair, that has already been kind of ran to some extent. It's not of any surprise that's been ran here, and everything else we're seeing, honestly, Shelby, looks perfectly normal.
Yeah, no surprises here whatsoever. I am curious if the teams are going to stay on the Symmetra, or if they're going to opt to swap to like a Tracer or a Genji. I would have to imagine that the Genji swap's going to come out and this is just TPS spawn. Yep, makes sense.
That direction to get things going, but first
Disrupting!
So Reveroni and Chuck is really hoping on both of them to make a good impression to get things started here today, because you'll kind of aim back on the solution where it's kind of hard to be touched. It could be very impactful. Glizzy Goes going to get pushed back further. Kylo going to get taken out with a nice railgun shot. Going to make it really difficult right now, but Elfars have started to dissipate more and more as Glizzy Goes super close to taking over, will eventually cap over the point, but unfortunately, that is not going to last for very long at all.
And
oh?
Ooh, okay. Well, that flip just came and happened up out of nowhere. Demon Kittens pulling that fight completely out of the mud. It really looked like the Glizzy Goats were going to take that pretty easily, but I mean, you got to shout out Chicano for just staying alive a little bit longer on that Hazard, doing all that damage, and look at how close they're getting to that ultimate already.
Yeah, the kind of thing I've noticed in this meta is the ultimates can go very, very quickly right now. Is that's just going to be a quick clean away as, again, it's building up big time. you're about to have a lot of ults coming alive for Demon Kittens, and the most important thing that you should do in the situation is not accidentally burn all 3 of them. That would be a very bad start for your ult economy, but either way, gotta get something, and they're probably gonna spend at least one thing here to try to win the fight.
I would imagine it's going to be the downpour for sure.
Yeah, it is pretty close right now, waiting for a potential opportunity. Gonna see if you can find a pig just in case, and if not, I think Chicano might just go in this rough and just pull that trigger. Here we come, downpour comes down, gonna get onto at least one, gonna be tough to out heal that right there, and unfortunately, is gonna come through very effectively. So the one ult use exactly what you look for if you're Demon Kittens, and so far a great start, but they actually did also use the orbital ray, so disadvantage for them going into this next fight realistically.
Yeah, you don't like that orbital ray coming out. That fight was secured as soon as Chicano got the pick onto Chinggis. And now for the other side, you got Glizzy Goats coming in with all of their ultimates, and they're in the same situation. Don't burn all your ultimates if you're the Glizzy Goats trying to win this fight.
Yeah, Kylo is down. Or more so has got the pick already. It's going back and forth still right now. Blade is slashing through a wall. A whole heck of nothing, unfortunately, right now as Artistic Man gonna see if they can get away with something instead. Unfortunately, nothing really coming to fruition, but it eventually will pay its due diligence and will take over the point. 88 though for Demon Kittens, and now with everything considered, it's gonna be an uphill climb for Glizzy Goats to try to hold on to this one here.
Yeah, the good thing though, if you're the Glizzy Goats, is you're going to have 2 ultimates available to you. The rally could give you just enough sustain to outlast a potential overclock coming in from Reveroni. That's really the only thing you've got to worry about from the Demon Kittens though. Just do not let Reveroni pick somebody early.
Yeah, 100% right now, but speaking of Reveroni, matching Chinggis right now has that Railgun ready to go. The overclock could be very impactful right now, trying to shoot away. Rally has been used as kind of a bit of a defensive format right now, and while Reveroni is getting plenty of damage, the name of the game is Eliminations, and is continuing forth right now. Glizzy Goes doing a really good job keeping everybody alive, well supplied up right now. Owen doing a really good job of holding down that front line as right now, downpour ready to go. Chicano is waiting for an opportunity to go, and I'm going to catch on to 2. That could be the 2 most devastating assassination coming through right now. Owen keeping these alive for the squad. Unfortunately, it's going to come to an end right here. And next fight, legitimately, is going to be difficult even for a touch at this point.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a close, like you said, to even get that touch. And Pika Pepper getting close to this orbital ray, you could potentially, oh, there might not even be a touch actually.
Genji's looking for it. Genji will end up getting it, so Artistic Man does get a touch. Unfortunately, that might just be it right now. Right now, if you're Owen, you're hoping you can get this ult online. Unfortunately, you don't have your support. They're ready to go, and at this point, it's just going to be a slow trickle on. Orbital Ray going to decide this first round right now. It is just down to the cleanup. First round going to be relatively clean for Demon Kittens. Bit of a rough patch there in the center, but had themselves a really strong start. And when you can go through and get that 80, 90+% and then hand it off to your opponent, you're able to have a couple of relaxed fights knowing that you can just build up to one big one.
Yeah, I mean, basically what happened there was Glizzy Goats had to burn so many fights to take that 80% fight you were talking about. They only had their overclock and rally available to them. They burned both of those ultimates. Demon Kittens have now built up to their downpour again. And you got to shout out Chicano. Both of those downpours that came in were incredibly impactful, catching 1 to 2 players. And it was always a really good squishy target too, like somebody that was having big impact on the outcome of the fights. So, I mean, great hazard plays so far for sure. That's something I definitely want to highlight from that last round.
Oh yeah, 100% I have to agree. But things change up a little bit with the Mauga being at the forefront of the presence here. So the Mauga is going to have a certain amount of sustainability right now, but it's going to be really tough when they're in a crowd, especially if they end up getting surrounded in the situation. But with Glizzy Goats playing the style, they're going to want to spear ring and then just go fast on a target together. That's what the Reaper and Mauga are going to mainly be there for. Chinggis is going to be able to act as a stun right here, but with Owen dropping, the plan sort of jumps out the window right there. So you can see everybody going to try to get out right now as Artistic Man, only person left standing, going to see if they can escape. TP ready to go. Will be able to get out momentarily, and they're getting chased down in the chase. Ends up working out.
I mean, again, Chicano just doing a great job of just not really giving the Mauga somebody to shoot at, but Chinggis getting that pick could be big time.
Yeah, sad unfortunately she goes down in this situation, so it's going to create an advantage right now as already has used one of the abilities. Owen needs to go through and try to see if they can find a stomp onto somebody here, force somebody around, because Chinggis unfortunately has gone down. Chicano doing really good with that assassination as Kylo was going to get stopped, managed to bash out of the way in time right now as Owen's starting to struggle quite a bit to really get anything working over on this Malga right now as the flank coming through. Going to be a little too late, and that's the thing with the Malga. Malga can be very effective, but unfortunately, if you don't get the value out of your cooldowns, unfortunately, you're just a giant ball of 8 HP.
And that's been the difficulty so far, and I like the swap coming out from Owen. Owen wasn't able to really make it anywhere with the Malka before the cooldowns ran out, and then, like you said, just a gigantic ult battery, and in comes the downpour.
Oh, that's going to be 2 right there, Sag. He's ready to go. Trying to slice and dice through, has gotten to 3K, and the 4 is denied by Owen, but that is an excellent cleanup right there, and Demon Kittens very firmly in control.
Owen said, "You're definitely not about to get a 4K on this. I can promise you that much." It decides to jump off the map and not allow it to happen. But, I mean, look, the team's trying to regroup and come in already, but there are still support ults online, and Reveroni takes down Silent Storm.
Yeah, now it's really hard to really do anything in this situation right now. Rally has been popped away, unfortunately. It's not going to result in a 1 fight, and unfortunately going to be deleted quickly. Chingus will manage to get a pick. Unfortunately, it doesn't result in them surviving and taking a fast reset. So final fight online. At this point, it is an absolute race to even touch the point.
No, I mean, the only thing here is Chingus's Deadeye could potentially deny some space, but you have double support ults if you're Demon Kitten, so those are just going to come out.
Yeah, Glizzy Goats have literally thrown everything in the kitchen sink at this fight, and they need to be able to go for a touch. 89, 99, and they're going to barely get the touch in time. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, as JNA currently hanging around, struggling a little bit, but eventually Reveroni going to come online right now, does end up having that overclock ready to go, has got rid of 1, got rid of 2, hope and find a little bit more to clean this one around and take themselves to a clean first map, and Reveroni already proving they want to take that gold this season. Going to be a clean finish here on map 1 for Demon Kittens.
I mean, really just a complete dominant performance from Demon Kittens. I mean, it's a little expected, you know. They're a more veteran team here in CGL. Glizzy Goats coming in trying to learn how the teams play and whatnot. But it just looked like Demon Kittens were a lot more coordinated, had a lot more time played together, which makes sense because they have been together for at least a couple seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense because it's one thing when you get together as a team and you can practice for like a month or so. That's kind of the realistic standard in these kind of situations, but when you have a team that played previously, you already have all that built-in synergy and experience understanding how your teammates play. And having that kind of experience is extremely important in a game like Overwatch, because sometimes players can just come together and click on the spot. We have seen it plenty of times before, but nothing beats the tried and true experience of playing as a team for a long time, and essentially coming up on a year at this point as well, competing with each other. So, clearly, it's proving to be good thus far, but of course, it's a first of 3 situation. Shadowfang, plenty of time for Glizzy Goats to come back.
Yeah.
Think of some more bans that can work in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I would almost think if you're the Glizzy Goats, you might want to go for the Hazard ban, honestly. Like, Chicano was just absolutely dominant on that hero on that first map, and Hazard is a hero that works on basically every map in the game. So if you can ban that out, then you can probably force something different, like, I don't know, like a Winston, a Diva, something like that, because map number 2 is going to be Blizzard World, we know. So that would make me think you would want to err closer to a more dive-centered composition and get the Hazard out of there if possible.
Yeah, because you could definitely substitute that Hazard in very easily for the Winston, especially if you get into a situation where if you're Demon Kittens and you're just that confident on the Hazard. I think this is the call where I agree with you, where you take Hazard out in the situation. You try to see if your dive works, because while the dive isn't going to be as effective when we get to things like Coliseum, but when we get to that 4th and 5th map, I think the dive starts to open up a lot more. And if you can find that bread and butter here, I think that'll be very effective later on. But of course, have to decide what direction the bans want to go in this situation right now, because Glizzy Goats are going to be going through with the first ban, and we fully expect for it to be at least a tank ban in some capacity. Whether that is banning the Hazard or banning another tank to try to protect him, it has yet to be seen.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it was anything other than Hazard, because again, the Lucio ban already came through last time. There's the Hazard ban coming in from Glizzy Goats, and if you're Demon Kittens at this point, I'm not sure what you might want to ban out. You know, maybe you just go for like a Juno. Nah, I was close. Ana. The Ana ban, so you don't want to see the Ana Brig come out with the Winston. That's smart in a sense. You know, you're forcing if you're going to try and play the Winston, it's going to be significantly more difficult without the Ana. So I do like that pick.
Yeah, so now you have to decide how you want to play this, because if you're running a very traditional dive, you still kind of have a few options. If you wanted to still force like the Brig and the Juno, I think you could. If you wanted to go a little more old fashioned, and by old fashioned I mean like a year ago, you could go with like the Lucio Kiriko. It's very much a tried and true. It's not the strongest duo necessarily, but it is one that can go very fast, that can get out very fast as well. So it's a very like heavy dive style with that. So that's what I imagine they might try to go the route of. But to be fair, with these bans in place, it's going to be down to that Winston. And I think even to an extent, maybe on defense, the Diva as well might make a bit of an appearance here on Blizzard World, because it is dive centric. And to be fair, Diva very good in that counter dive.
Yeah, I do actually think that I kind of like the Diva better with the Kiriko Lucio these days. The Kiriko can't just like spam heal into the Winston as well as she used to be able to back when she first came out. But you know, we could see like even the old playoffs meta from a few years ago where the teams are just running Sojourn Reaper at each other with Winstons. That could realistically be a thing. You know, I don't see why you wouldn't if you know the Winston's going to come out.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But this is the experiment right now. This is what we were hoping would happen if we want to see some success from this Glizzy Goats team right now. Is going to get things sorted away. Let's see who's going to be attacking and defending first and foremost. And, well, we see something very clear in front of us right now. Chicano over on the Winston. Looks like the Kiriko and the Lucio is going to be starting out right now. But, oh boy, the other side looks... It could not possibly look any different.
Well, the other side has to attack, so they could still swap. I have a hard time believing we're going to see a Kiriko Zen. Although, you know, that would be interesting to see how they're able to deal with Sad on that Tracer. But it looks like, you know, we got 9 seconds left. I'm not seeing any swaps, but maybe we could see a swap. I'm not sure what to think here of this. Are you just going to try and rock the Winston as soon as they come in and blow them up instantly? That must be the play.
Well, in this situation right here, I don't necessarily hate it. I think you give it a fight here. Because to be fair, if Chinggis does just get a pick, you just move forward, and there's not a whole lot that Team Kittens can really do in this situation. So for Glizzy Goats, it is a bit of a risk in this situation right now, but if it does find the value, it should pop off big time right now. So everyone's going to hang back a little bit right here. You're waiting for the right moment to dive in right now. They're see if they can get rid of Silent Storm. They 100% will. That is the best dive target you can go for. And now in the situation, you're hoping you can get rid of Chicano, who's sitting super low. Does have the heals coming through, though, as a lot of people kind of still getting a little bit low. And Glizzy Goats just need to take a little bit of time and get a reset right now, as said. Nearly ends up going down as Reveroni just popping off, and these are the kills. Finally, the collapse is effective.
And again, Chicano just doing such a good job of holding this position on the Winston and just kind of insta-deleting those backline characters. And now you're seeing the Kiriko Brig come out from the side of the Glizzy Goats. I like that a little bit better. It's a little more counter-divey to an extent, you know, to try and prevent this Winston from just getting in. But again, the Winston's just getting so much value, the Winston and Tracer.
100% right now. Just able to go in on anyone right now. Now Chinggis knows they're kind of a sitting duck right now with Silent Storm back there right now, but they get the extra damage in beforehand. That way, it's impossible to really do anything. And now your backline has essentially collapsed right now. It's going to fall apart at the seams. And now this is where I think Glizzy Goats maybe start to think of something else right now, because they just essentially are just getting collapsed in on.
No, this is a tough spot to be in. I mean, honestly, if you want to play a close stand-together comp at this point, this is going to sound silly, you may as well run Reinhardt Reaper May and just all stand in a circle together and just try and delete anybody that shows up. If you're going to use like a stationary character like the Cassidy, because I think you're going to have a hard time doing anything with that. No, what do I know?
Hey, well, apparently you know something, as this fight seems to be going in their direction. It is trading out a little bit right now, as it looks like the Mickens are kind of taking back the fight. That's really unfortunate in this situation, but to be fair, that's how a lot of these dive fights are going to go. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice 1 or 2 of your players if it means going and winning the fight.
Yeah, I mean, smart play overall from the Demon Kittens right there. And now look at these ults. You have a Blade if you're Artistic Man, but Demon Kittens has Primal and 2 DPS ultimates. Like, that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, an overclock has been expended a little early here. Everyone's going to try to find something and just shut down this fight before it begins. And unfortunately, Storm not in the best of situations, and here comes the all-out aggression that we've seen from this team a few times already. Going to be a big cleanup, but also a bit of a spendy fight. Only 2 ultimates, but now for Glizzy Goats, I mean, they got the rush, they have the blade around the corner from getting the rally. This should realistically be a winnable fight for them.
Kylo has beat. Kylo has beat. That alone could be enough to gain you the space you need to get away from the beat, or to get away from the blade. That's an early beat, though.
Yeah, a little bit of an early beat, but to see if it's effective or not, Jane, unfortunately, going to go down early first and foremost, and Glizzy Goats, unfortunately, just not going to find any value as the blade has actually been popped right now. It's going to find one at the end of the day. It's going to get rid of Kylo, but unfortunately, it's just not going to mean a whole lot in the situation right now. Chicano just has to eventually try to get out, try to see if they get rid of Jane, but they're going to jump out instead, get some support, and back off a little bit first.
And it's smart to just pressure that out, try and get some more ult charge for your team. You're looking at double support ults, a primal, and a Deadeye. That's a lot to deal with if you're Demon Kittens.
It 100% is, and of course, not the place you want to be with the angry monkey jumping around right now, trying to find something. Unfortunately, Owen not able to find a whole ton of value, but it looks like Glizzy Goats finally going through the spending, going through the works. Looks like it's starting to pay off, especially you don't have usual die turbos there. Pika Pepper somehow gets rid of Artistic Man, though, so a retouch is not completely out of the question.
It isn't. If Pika Pepper can stay alive and pop the Kitsune Rush on point, there is potential for this fight to be flipped.
Yeah, but recalls there. No retouch available. Kylo getting taken out, and now Sag is in a bit of a weird spot. Should be able to at least maybe get a quick reset or be able to get out, but it looks like they are being found out right now as we speak. But either way, Glizzy Goats give themselves some extra time to work with here. And now, I think if you want to have any chance at realistically winning this map, I think you have to try to get the second checkpoint.
No, absolutely. If you're the Glizzy Goats, you need to like go aggressive as early as possible here. We're seeing Sad set up in the back line, get ready to look for this pulse bomb, but you just gotta kill somebody quick. Good pick by Owen there.
Yeah, great one to get started right now, but obviously like not nearly over yet right now. Chicano decides to not pull the ult right there, which ends up being the right call in the situation. You want to save it for this next fight, where the spawns are a little closer, really stack everything in your favor. So if things do go wrong, you have an opportunity to fight back and just have more to work with.
Yeah, and you are going to see you got the Pulse Bomb, you got the Overclock, and the Primal available to you if you're Demon Kittens. This is the fight you want to win because this is realistically the point that you can actually hold second for quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the spawns are literally right there. And with you losing Artistic Man early, Demon Kittens setting themselves up in a great territory to keep things going right now. Again, the double ult usage in this situation means you're just going to have the beat and that pulse bomb for the next fight afterwards. So for Glizzy Goats, honestly, as they're going to push back a little bit, I think for this fight, maybe you just go with an all-out dive, and now you especially can do that.
No, absolutely. Chicano overstepping their bounds a little bit right there. If you're Sad, you probably need to get a pick with this Pulse Bomb if you want to save this for your team.
Yeah, it's really need to right now, and they're waiting. They're trying to see if they can get everybody low right now. Unfortunately, going to have to hit the recall, and Sad, she's just not in a great situation anymore. Has to hide around, and basically is going to likely be the retouch for their team coming up here momentarily. But of course, coming around the corner, you want to keep bodies on it, make sure it's as difficult as possible to force a touch right now. Deadeye ready to go. His beat has been expended right now on the high ground right now. Silent Storm, fortunately, going to go down first and foremost. I mean, Shingus does not have the most help in the world and is clearly showing as it's all falling apart this fight. But the bright side is Glizzy Goats don't invest a dang thing. So this fight coming up here, last one, really in their advantage.
I mean, really Sad still has this same Pulse Bomb from a few fights ago. You need to try and pick somebody off before they get the point touch here just to give your team an advantage because that's all you have of your Demon Kittens, and Glizzy Goat's going to have all 5 of their ultimates engaging into this fight.
Yeah, but of course, the touch has to happen, of course. They're going to be going for it. The Primal has to be expended. Just make sure that happens perfectly fine. But unfortunately, the stick is devastating. Silent Storm is not going to be able to get this rally in for this fight right now. It's down to Chingus to try to find something right now. They have this Deadeye. Unfortunately, they are getting styled on in the situation. Sad able to help close things out here. Owen still hanging around. Does manage to get rid of Sad eventually. But even with everything online right now, it's not going to be enough. Body's going to try to go for a touch right now, but the rally is not going to be any meaningfulness for this situation. Going to get stopped just before that second checkpoint. And now, Demon Kittens setting themselves up in nice territory to potentially already put us on match point.
I mean, I got to shout out Sad for that Pulse Bomb. Of all the people you could have gotten right there, the Brigida, 2% before they get rally was like the absolute perfect stick to get on that Pulse Bomb. So a really great play to just stop that sustain from coming in and helping the side of Glizzy Goats stay up for that fight.
Yeah, 100%. Now, we're going to see what happens this round in this situation. Is see if Glizzy Goats want to go for a more defensive style like they were rocking earlier on their attack, or if maybe they try to match things a little bit to what they were trying, because what they were trying was working to some extent right now, and it looks like they're debating it a little bit, but it looks like it's going to go back the same direction, and Demon Kittens more than comfortable just playing what they have been playing, because honestly, there's no reason not to.
No, absolutely. I mean, I understand coming out on the Widowmaker, just seeing if you get a pick here or there, real quick. But then I imagine Sad's going to go back, swap to either the Genji or the Tracer, whichever one they're feeling more comfortable on. And I do like Owen going onto the Diva as well, going for more of that counter dive like we were talking about earlier. So that I think that's a smart pick here as well.
I have to 100% agree in that situation. But see the Diva coming out right now for Glizzy Ghost in the situation. Owen going to try to rock it. And to be fair, I think it's a good choice. I think it's a really good defensive style right now. I think it could be very effective, especially if you want to stop someone like Jane, who just has been kind of dive consistently, as there looks like they're going to try to find something with the shot on Sad, but should have found anything quite yet. And we'll just go for the swap.
No, I mean, looks like they land a couple of body shots, but no headshots to be found there. So we're going to see the Tracer come out. And we're seeing the damage boost, the Mercy damage boosting Reveroni now. So this is going to be an interesting thing to see throughout the map.
100% in this situation right now. So, Reveroni, who's had a great game, by the way, so far right now, as is doing good for the time being, as Artistic Man unfortunately has gone on first and foremost, becomes a really rough situation. But Chingus very much keeping their team in it with a pick right now. Sag just doing a great job in the background, just hanging around. But of course, the Mercy is hanging around, which means that pick you just got on that tank, guess what? Pucko is gone. Unfortunately, that looks like that's the result in this fight falling apart. And at this point, you want to try to have everybody die on the point, take as much time as possible, so maybe everyone can get a mass spawn together and retouch. But at this point, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, I'd be surprised if Glizzy Goats was able to get that touch there. That res was pretty much the key to that fight. The fight win right there, in my opinion. Just being able to get your Winston right back in that fight, and then going back to damage boosting your Sojourn, getting all that high damage out. And I mean, we're already looking at an overclock and a pulse bomb available, and like there's nothing really on the side of Glizzy Goats yet.
Yeah, unfortunately that's kind of the case right now, but ults are trying to build up right now. They're getting close to the double support ultimate. Kylo, who kind of just is still kind of going back over to Lucio, restarting their ultimate, so there's that silver lining right there. But it's become a situation where you need to try to get some level of fight win here coming up shortly, because you cannot allow them to roll into one fight territory with so much time and so much momentum, as Team McKinn's have support ults coming around the corner. More so, the only thing that they don't have online is going to be this beat. So if they wanted to 2-2 in a style between these next two fights, it could be very effective as some sort of let's go of this consuming rush. Unfortunately, it's not going to find a whole lot of value, and Owen is going to be suffering for that matter. Chingus tries to win for the dead. Unfortunately, it's falling apart, and they have used everything in the economy, and Demon Kittens just trucking on ahead.
And I mean, a really good job there of not burning all of your ultimates if you're Demon Kittens. It's got to be tempting to, but you just used the overclock and the primal, so that's incredibly high value. You've still got the pulse bomb. Chingus getting Reveroni could be big time, though. That's a lot of damage that's gone now. But then Sad getting Chingus right back.
Yeah, and it's the trade-outs right now. But the trade-outs in this situation are going to favor Glizzy Goats. In this situation, 99 times out of 100, it's going to favor that defensive squad right now. So let's see if you can get out right now. If you are Chicano, looks like it's going to happen, which means a refight here could happen very quickly, as it's actually just going to get started right away. Shadow Fang, they don't want to wait for us. They want to try to get this one going and try to take this one away. As Owen is going to go in, gets a little melted away, going to have to take some care and have to let that go, as Artistic Man is going to have to be the savior for the squad in this situation. Beat has been expended right now. Owen gets super low right now. Artistic Man needs to try to get this blade online. Currently sitting at it. It's going to be online right now. Has to try to pop it in this situation because the touches need to come through. Artistic Man going to go through. Not able to find anything. And it is all falling apart. Demon Kitten's going to dominate their way through. Blizzard will as well. Going to go to match point. And right now, team nigh unstoppable.
No, absolutely. Just a dominant performance from Demon Kittens on maps number 1 and 2, respectively. And I mean, it's just the timeliness of the kills is what's really doing it for me right now. It's just the moments in which the picks need to come out, like right there, not losing track of the Brigitte and then immediately following up onto the Kiriko. You love to see that intense focus coming out from your Tracer player.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to be able to see that because Tracer is one of those characters that has like that highest kind of peak throughout all the characters in the game, the highest cap that you can kind of reach to where if you're playing against a really good Tracer, you know you're playing against a really good Tracer because you're back in the spawn room every single fight. But either way, it's working out beautifully for them so far. Obviously, going to see if that continues to be the case because Glizzy Goats still get one more opportunity in this situation to try to figure out how they want to go about things in the ban process. But Shadowfang, before we get anything settled away, we're gonna take this to our little bit of a halftime break, get things settled away, get everything situated for what's coming up next. Gonna see if it's gonna be a quick 309 for Demon Kittens or if Glizzy Goats have some more fight in them. You're gonna find out right after this break.
Till I downfall, my love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Memories. Memories. Memories.
It has been a bit of a one-sided affair so far, ladies and gentlemen. Demon Kittens, with that top 6 finish last season, hoping to come through and make a better impression. And so far, Shadowfang, it seems to be the case right now. Currently up 2-0 against Glizzy Goats right now. And Glizzy Goats
Mhm.
trying to fight back as much as they possibly can. Unfortunately, Demon Kittens doing a really good job of shutting them down. So the question is, you got one more chance to respond right now. How do you go about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question to answer because it feels like from all fronts, the Demon Kittens have just been oppressing Glizzy Goats, honestly. Like you could point out Chicano's dives coming through. You got Sad on the Tracer laying in that damage as well. But a lot of times as well, the reason those supports were dying so fast is because they were taking railguns from Reveroni off in the distance. So it's like, what can you ban here realistically to kind of stop this from happening? And that's the tough question here, because with the hazard ban being out of the way, we're going to go back to hazard, I imagine, and it's going to look a lot more similar to the Lijiang Tower map number 1.
Yeah, we talked a lot about what we thought would happen during the break between a lot of the bands, and I think there's a couple things we really settled on that we think should happen in the situation, and we'll have to see if one other one of them is going to be the case or not. I mean, we know, you don't. That's the fun of it, ladies and gentlemen. So Glizzy Goats are once again going to be banning away first in this situation. Obviously, not able to reban Hazard in the situation. So, I mean, Shadowfang. I mean, why not go for the next best choice, which I think we agree on, and I'm gonna imagine Glizzy Goats are probably going to agree on it as well.
No, absolutely. And yeah, no surprises there. The Tracer ban comes through. Sad was just doing so much on that character last game. Uh, I almost don't know if they were going to play it on the next upcoming map, though, Colosseo. I feel like Colosseo would lean more towards the Genji pick that we saw on map 1. But, I suppose taking away the possibility of the Tracer coming out is never a bad idea per se. So now Demon Kittens, I'm really curious. Their response has to be probably a support of some sort, I would imagine. Maybe like the Kiriko or something along those lines. Oh, we'll just have to see it. Oh no, the Sigma. Okay, that makes sense. We did see the Glizzy Goats play some Sigma, so it's just like, okay, we're gonna completely remove the possibility of you playing that bunker style composition here.
Yeah, because we see people sometimes revert to their comfort comps, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you kind of just want to eliminate that chance. If you're confident you're going to go out in the situation and you're going to win the hazard 1v1s and just kind of do what you've been doing, I like this. Pretty much eliminate the possibility of plan B. Make Glizzy Goats have to stick to the original plan no matter what. Creates a little bit of extra pressure in the situation, but with that Tracer ban, that is going to be a little more hard pressed to do what she normally wants to do, and it's going to be a situation where I would believe it would come down to a Sojourn Genji style composition.
Hmm.
Nothing much is going to change elsewise, but the Tracer is just not going to be able to kind of invade the backline as easily. So I guess we essentially have to see if that's going to help Glizzy Go to be able to kind of sustain longer and try to pick up some wins. Because if you can come away with a couple early fight wins and give yourself that early lead, it gives you the ability to play 50-50, which is it's so much easier on your conscience and honestly just on your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would like to see one team do Juno Brig and the other team do Kiriko Lucio and just see which one manages to get a kill quicker, Just see if the Lucio speed actually does make a difference, but I get the feeling both teams are probably just going to run that Juno Brig and just kind of sit back, get the constant uptime up, have the two generally just very powerful support ultimates on their side. So I just think that's probably the way it's gonna go, because I mean, Rally just basically entirely denies Blade.
Yeah, we definitely will in that situation. That's a lot of these ults are used for basically for the sake of negation. That's what we're going to see.
Mhm.
But of course, as we speak of Coliseum and speak of push in general, we talk about how early, or more so, how important those early fights are. As Le Fish is just, honestly, that's a pretty great view. If it were the fact there was a giant rock in their way, they would have a pretty great view for the first fight. I'm just saying, pretty nice.
No, no, absolutely. You gotta admire the craftsmanship here too. I mean, really, just look at how well these scales are defined on this fish. It's some good detail that Blizzard polish, as they like to say, really put into this map.
Yeah, to be fair, I'll say it. Coliseum, as much as people hate it, it is a beautiful map. If you ever sat there and looked out that ledge, it looks quite beautiful as we're getting an amazing shot of it as we speak. I mean, again, Some of the maps just look fantastic in this game right here. But of course, unfortunately, this is not a place that a lot of people really go in and take notice to. Unfortunately, because the fights normally happen on the complete other side of the map. But we're gonna have to see what we're gonna see in that beginning part right now, as something seems a little off right now.
Well, at first it's looking like the Demon Kittens are looking at some Winston, well, maybe some Reinhardt coming out here. Do they know the Glizzy Goats are trying to play Zarya? Are we seeing some comp gameplay? This is what happens in my comp games when I pick Zarya. The other team just goes Reinhardt immediately. They're just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I'm curious how it's gonna work. To be fair, both that Winston and that Reaper play pretty good into that Zarya style. So I'm curious how it's going to work, because this is a gamble by Owen and the rest of Glizzy Codes. If it works out, it's beautiful. If it doesn't, it's gonna fall apart very quickly.
And I think not having the Lucio is actually a really big detriment for Owen as well. I don't know how you get on a target with this Zarya without some speed.
Yeah, are going to get pelted away. The biggest thing you want to do in this situation is you want to capture the bubbles as soon as possible. And they're going to trade out tanks in the situation, which realistically, he's going to play slightly more into Glizzy Goat style right now with what they have right now. They're able to defend slightly better, while Demon Kittens have a lot of speed. It's a unfortunate situation, as we got a pause coming through, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have been paying attention to that lovely text on your left, you will know that we got to switch up a couple of things really quick. Get things started away. Life, things happen, but Shadow Fame will get it figured out here any moment. Make sure everything is squared away, good to go, because again, a lot of new things introduced this season. It's all going through the works. It's all flowing along. But either way, I will say it, very interesting comps to go through Coliseum to start out with.
No, absolutely. I can't say I was expecting the Winston from the Demon Kittens, but I'm never mad to see the Winston come out. And for the Glizzy Goats, I feel like that's got to just be a comfort pick for Owen, and we saw it pretty immediately with as quick as they were able to burn down Chicano on that Winston. Just get your Zarya high charge, try and get them in. Again, I really think if you're going to play the Zarya, you need to play as the Zarya being the focal point of your whole team's attack. So just go with the Lucio, even play the Reaper. I don't know, do something like that. Just go all in with the Zarya if you're going to play it,
Yeah, 100% right now. So we're going to get back into lobby here, and we got another incredible view of the places where the fights do take place indeed. I'll say it, the walls not being there make the map look 10 times as lovely, as hopefully these next fights are going to be lovely as well. As once again, we don't have a fish to talk about this time, but to be fair, look at that amazing car right there. Why is it parked there in particular? What is there to do right there, you think?
Every European car looks just like that car. Every time I've been to Europe, they all look exactly like that. I don't know why. I don't know how every brand over there makes their cars look exactly like that, but they do.
Well, love to see it, as Glizzy Goats out the gate on the Zarya here once again. Nothing really changing. The Reaver being paired up with a Brig and Kiriko is what confuses me just a little bit, because normally you would pair this with some kind of speed, and there just isn't any speed to work with.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough. You're going to have to burn through all your bubbles just to gain the space to get close enough to then die.
Yeah, by the way, Owen's helpful went from 100 to 40% in the span of nothing. And unfortunately for our Artistic Man, they don't get the benefit of having that torn from the zero. They just get deleted out the gate, but Chicano has been traded out. That's a lovely trade you're looking for right now. Chingus Bingus going to move forward, getting the upper hand on the Sad, who was over on the Widow in this situation right now. But either way, first fight in their favor. Glizzy Goats, though, would love to go back-to-back.
No, they absolutely. You're going to get a little bit of an advantage here. Chingus just needs to keep landing these shots on this Sojourn right now. Make sure that Chicano really just can't walk in. And that's kind of what you're trying to do here. Just burn down Chicano as soon as they try and walk forward on this hazard.
Yeah, everyone playing very carefully as well. You do not want to walk into the sidelines of Sad in the situation right now. And you can already kind of feel the effects of that Tracer not existing, really showing its magic, because Kylo is forced to go into the back a little bit. Unfortunately, it's not really working out. A lot of pressure being delivered to the backline still from Sad. Unfortunately, it's not doing as much as you would really hope in the situation, but Owen has been brought low right now. Unfortunately, Silent Storm has literally been forced out of the fight here, so there's not a whole lot you can really do right now, as Chicano will follow directly as well. So Glizzy goes to move forward, and Demonkin's got to back up a little bit once again.
They are going to have to back up, but they're going to have the downpour available to them in this fight, as well as Reveroni just about to come up on this overclock. And really, if you're Glizzy Goats, you want to build up this Kitsune Rush as soon as you can and just try and like pop it on point for positioning. And it looks like actually the Glizzy Goats are going to back up for this fight.
Yeah, and they at this point they notice the Sombra is now active in the situation, which is a very interesting changeup, and honestly one that I really like. But Downpour is ready to go. She's kind of going to go for the assassination. It's going to work out. Chingus unfortunately had nowhere left to slide, and it's going to be that usage of ult right here. Just a bit of cleanup from Reveroni to make sure this fight stays securely in their hands. And to be fair, you love the investment because while winning the fight is great, making Owen have to go back down to 0 energy is, I mean, arguably just as important.
No, absolutely. You want to make sure that Zarya is not just kind of running the lobby. And Glizzy Goats do though have 5 ultimates to engage with this next fight with. You really just want to make sure you don't burn all of them. And at Kylo's beat's going to be huge, but Artistic Man getting that pick is just, that's unfortunate for Demon Kittens.
Yeah, it's a really important fight coming up here online. We get to see them try to go in. Artistic Man does have that death blossom. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of great ability to actually really use this ultimate, especially with the fact that you don't have speed. It's very much going to have to be like an on-the-point fight is hectic kind of usage for, or maybe just a quick TP. But either way, Kitsune Rush going to be activated first and foremost here right now. King Pepper more than happy to try to respond back right now. He has been activated. It is the usage of ultimates. They're doubling down. Artistic Man has gotten rid of one. Needs a little bit of care. Won't get it. But at the end of the day, fight goes into their favor. Glizzy Goats going to move forward, getting closer and closer to that checkpoint.
And it was a very expensive fight for the Glizzy Goats, but it was totally worth it because you got a lot of the ults out of the Demon Kittens as well. Now here, that downpour is going to be crucial for the Demon Kittens. It's got to be huge. It's got to be big time.
Yeah, 100%. Need a nice little early out right now. Rough situation right now. Shingus has been hacked away, but still is managing to deliver a big threat right now, making sure to kind of keep everyone at bay, and it's working out beautifully, especially with Owen having all of this charge right now. So far, it's working in their favor. Checkpoint around the corner, and it will come through, ladies and gentlemen. A 36-meter lead so far, and it might grow a little bit on top of that as they're going to go in, and unfortunately, Artistic Man in the wrong place at the wrong time, and sad. Very much wants to hold on to this EMP and just take away a clean fight, which looks like realistically they should be able to do here very short.
No, absolutely. Great plays from this Sombra so far. Silent Storm getting Reveroni could be bad, but it looks like Chicano is going to secure this fight for their team.
Yeah, 100%. Love to see it. Now the EMP is online, so, I mean, I don't know if you even use it. I'm going to be honest. I think you try to get away with using the other 2 ults this fight. I think you save the EMP for an ult fight, especially when you eventually get that grab online. I think that'd be the smart decision.
No, absolutely. Just trying to win this with the downpour and the overclock would be the preferred method here. And just use the EMP if you have to. Or re-engage with the EMP, you know, either one.
Yeah, to be fair, it secures you a fight win. You can't be mad about that. But now you go into this next fight, and the problem is Owen is very likely going to be able to get this hold up online, especially with the fact that they Kitsune Rush. Kylo is not going to get that time. It would be a miracle if Kylo did in this situation. So going into this, I mean, you have to be smart because now things are kind of just stacked against you.
Really, Pika Pepper needs to try and build up this this orbital ray. That could be the answer here, potentially. Just have that sustain coming in for your team.
That is some beautiful aggression right there. Forces the Kitsune Rush. Grab is still ready to go before that beat, but that beat is right around the corner, so beat should realistically come online. But for Glizzy Goats, all that did was buy them a little bit of space right there. But Chingus does get hit with the assassination, and that's the Juno all going down the drain, unfortunately. Well, you don't even use the beat, you lose out on the other support ultimate. It gets no vibe because, ladies and gentlemen, it did not even come out.
Oh, that is tough for the Demon Kittens. And Chicano still has this downpour online. Hasn't used it for about 3 fights now. So you kind of just, at this point, you kind of just got to yeet it out and just kind of hope you kill somebody with it because you've had it for so long now.
Yep, Chingus getting a ton of care right now. I love that method as well. Downpour going to be used. One person caught on right now, and Silent Storm getting deleted from the server, ladies and gentlemen. But Chingus thinks this fight is very much still winnable. Manages to find one, unfortunately, does not find a second. And for Glizzy Goats, fight's going to be falling apart at the seams. Going to see if you look at the investment right now, if you're Artistic Man, but looks like they're just going to hold on, see if they can TP out. Looks like they should be able to do so successfully. As Owen, oh, you need to run. You need to go now.
It's all right. Owen's got that self-heal. They'll be fine, surely. There's no issues here.
Zero issues whatsoever, as their team is slowly falling off the flank right now, unable to maintain most of that charge as well. And Owen's are really smart about the bubble users as well in this situation. Kind of using it for when they know that their backline is going to try to get assassinated, they'll send the bubble back, get a bunch of charge out of it, because at that point you have to invest. But, either way, the fight is ongoing. Ching is going to get rid of the side of the situation with EMP. Is not going to happen this fight. Going to poop away there from the death loss, but the impact has already gone their way. That 75 meters likely to grow a little bit further as Demon need this next fight win bad.
No, absolutely. You're probably going to see this get close to 100 meters before Demokins are even able to re-engage it. And we see Chicano actually opt for the Mauga here, which I think it's going to be tough to get some really high value out of that, but sad getting the picks is not bad at all.
Yeah, you saw that was used to try to keep them alive, so it's unfortunately not in the value they're coming for. Chicano, by the way, just burnt to smithereens right there by Owen in that situation right there, as they're doing a really good job stalling this out, delivering a fair amount of damage right now. The numbers game is eventually going to go out of their favor, but Owen has done a really good job of eventually dying on this part, but stalling it out for a beautiful amount of time, which is making this as difficult as possible for Team Kittens.
They do get it just below 100 meters, 97.8 do Glizzy Goats. But now here we are, another grab available, and there's also another orbital ray available. So are we going to see the same thing happen again with the Demon Kittens? I think not, but you're kind of just stuck in a really tough spot not having that beat available.
I mean, honestly, if you can EMP as this grab is out, it'd be the most beautiful thing in the world, but they're looking to go for it aggressively once again. Gotta go for it, it's gonna catch on to 4 members. The deletion has come through very quickly. Owen does have a grab ready to go, but very smartly going to hold onto it, reset for another fight, as that point's gonna be moving along right now. Gonna see the escape of Artistic Man and Silent Storm. Gonna try to get out of here alive, but unfortunately for Silent Storm, their day has come as like a reset, and realistically, Demokins should get that first checkpoint unlocked.
No, they'll definitely get the checkpoint here, but the tough part is Kylo's still only 75% to that ultimate. I mean, you almost need to go aggressive with the orbital ray just to try and stop the grab from potentially coming in, because you can't afford that grab to get a couple of kills.
Yeah, 100%. Now, the grab has been used on a singular target. That is, I don't know how I quite feel about that, as Owen is just kind of getting hampered away. Chingus has invested as well in this fight right now. Perhaps there's a lot of nervousness to try to take away this fight, to try to make it happen. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen, and now with no ults on the table, you have to somehow find a way to win this next fight.
Oh, this is going to be a tough ask. Chicano having that cage fight available is really the big one, because you don't have anything for it. Artistic Man realistically can build up to this Death Blossom very quickly because Chicano is such a big target, but now we have Mauga v Mauga, and they're just going to stare at each other and press their buttons, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you realize you kind of have to do this in this situation. This cage fight has been activated to put everybody into a nice little small bubble of death right now. Assad has managed to find things right now, and it's Reveroni coming through big time, 2K, and it's going to be the cleanup, and the lead is going to be lost in the final hours. And at this point, a touch is even questionable. 5 seconds on the clock. Shadowfang, they're coming around the corner, trying to find a touch. Unfortunately, they lose it at the final moment possible, and Demon Kittens will finish in 3-0 fashion with one heck of a comeback.
No, that was an insane comeback to finish off Push. I mean, really, at the last possible moment, they finally take the lead. The cage fight just ended up being too much. You let Reveroni just fire off into a spot. You can't really move around too much, and there you go. 1, 2, 3. There go the supports. They're out of the picture, and that's the map. And there's nothing you really could have done about it, but we did see some good looks come out from the Glizzy Goats on map number 3 in particular. I would have to say that was by far their best map in the series.
Yeah, because I think it really felt like they played their own style in that situation, and they felt the most comfortable in that situation. I think part of it does come from the fact that you didn't have a tracer trying to run through backline a lot of the time, which goes to the fact of your bands being smart. I think every ban they made today was the correct ban. It's just a situation where if you're an experienced team like Div and Kittens, who have already experienced hero bans to some kind of extent, they just know how to kind of work around it and make that comeback, because I thought my situations were Demokins. I thought they were in a situation where they were going to 3-0. They did, but Glizzy Goats made me think wrong for quite some time there. They took a great advantage. They had some really good fights. Unfortunately, the ult economy just was not in their favor for the last couple of maps, unfortunately, or more so for the most couple of.
Yeah, it just just barely ended up going in Demon Kitten's favor on map number 3. But it shows the Glizzy Goats were starting to learn as the series went on. And I would expect to see them have vast improvements over the CGL season, just because, again, this was the top 6 team last season. So you're, there are going to be some teams that are, a little bit lower on the bracket than that. You might have a better chance taking some W's there. And, so definitely keep an eye on this team.
Yeah, definitely going to love to do that. And of course, we'll get a nice up and close look as well, because we're going to be cutting it to another break here. But when we do come back, we'll get an interview set up for you with one of the members of Demon Kittens, figure out what were their thoughts going throughout the match. So that'll come on the other side of this break. Maybe.
Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free
Welcome back to the break, ladies and gentlemen. We have just finished a 3-0 finish here. Demon Kittens getting themselves a big win to start the season, looking dominant in much of it and making a big comeback on Colosseo to secure said 3-0. And got a fun little interview for you here today. We have Reveroni joining us from Demon Kittens, and first and foremost, congratulations on a great win to start the season.
I appreciate it so much. It's definitely a great start for our season so far, and we know there's gonna be a lot of challenges coming up for us in the upcoming season. So getting this win means a lot for us.
I mean, yeah, 100% has to in that situation because we take a look back at Demikins Roman's last season when we talk about the NA console open tier and how that went. And Demikins got to that top 6 spot, had some really good moments. So being in the situation now, what's kind of been like the whether the restructure or kind of the journey been like from that moment to here to the beginning of season 15?
Right now, we're kind of shuffling up the roster a little bit. As you know, some players have departed, so we also have some new players coming in for this season as well.
Mhm.
It's a little nerve-wracking because you gain used to the all new personalities and such. But I'm confident of this season. I hope to make another big playoff push like we did last season. Maybe go a little further as well. Not much to add.
Well, all right. That sounds good. Is there any team in particular in the tier that you're looking forward to playing again this season? Because there are some repeat teams, obviously, from last year and some new teams as well. So just wondering if there's a particular team y'all are just really wanting to play.
I'm excited though the new teams coming in. I mean, right now it's very hybrid, so both console and PC are battling at each other right now. And I know next week is gonna be a little nerve-wracking for us. We're gonna go against Nightmare Rotation, if I remember correctly, and I know those guys play a bizarre comp of Hog, Junkrat, Bastion, Symmetra with the Curie Lucio, of course. Those guys are amazing. So we're nervous for that one, but we're very confident we can at least put up a good fight. That's what I believe in.
No, absolutely, and it does make sense. Nightmare Rotation, in particular, a very odd team to say the least with their compositions. That actually brings up a good point of what I was about to say as well. What do you think about the ban system so far, and how did it affect your gameplay here tonight, if it did at all?
Oh, thankfully, I'm DPS, and not a lot of bans comes for unless it's like Soj because hit scan
Mhm.
roll. But yeah, no, I mean I like the ban system a lot. It's a lot of fun. It actually adds like some layer, and also kind of like really encourages us to like flex a bit. Besides like me, because I'm stuck on Soj apparently. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it a lot. And I'm excited. I'm a lot of terms of doing it. We're starting doing it in scrims now, which is very unique and very fun as well. And it's also seeing the way other teams like operate and the way they think as well. I love it. I love it so much.
It was definitely very interesting to kind of see the bans already taking place throughout the week, especially here today and how they went through. But obviously, it's great 3-0. Obviously, got some more matches throughout this first half of the season to try to get to that mid-season playoff. And it was already brought up like what teams you were kind of looking forward to facing. But I would say, just in your perspective, your I'll say professional perspective, in who you've kind of seen. Who would you say is your biggest competition in terms of like ever having to go up against?
That's a great question. I do know from top of my memory of our scheduling, a lot of teams that we are going against are relatively new, or like we've never gone against them before. So it's kind of hard for me to really pinpoint like an exact team. And I don't have the schedule in front of me like immediately, so I'm sorry if I'm like kind of stalling right now. But I don't know. I know we're going against Retirement Home twice, so I guess they'll be our quote unquote rivals for this like off not like mid season, I guess.
Yep. I love to see it, and I'll follow up that question with a fun question, one that does not require
Mm.
research, but just pure 50-50 here. There are a lot of vicious teams from an org, and there are also a lot of
Mhm.
agave teams in this. So I want to hear right now, just on the spot, who do you think's winning the war this season between these two orgs, agave or
Agave.
vicious?
Oh,
All
Agave.
right.
We've gone against one of the Agave teams in the past, like really early on, when they were still like assembling. Those guys are very passionate. They're very serious, and I know the Vicious org is very humongous. They collect every console player. I've seen it in my like ladder. But Agave, I believe in their passion. I believe in the culture they're building, and I think they'll win the war between Vicious.
Gonna see if that's gonna be the case or not. Obviously, we want to let you be able to go and celebrate. But before we do, we'll give you an opportunity. If there's anything you want to say personally, if there's anybody you want to shout out, we will open the floor to you.
Just shout out my team. Love them very much. And shout out to the people watching as well. You know, CGL is a fantastic brand, and I love the professionalism here. So, nothing much. And shout out you two as well. Thank you for
We'll take-
casting us.
Hey, we'll take that every single day of the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, once more, congratulations on a big win. Best of luck for the rest of the season. But obviously, you will to go celebrate with your team and enjoy your night.
You too, man. See ya.
All right, take care. Shadowfang, you love to see it, don't you? You love to see it.
Oh yeah. Always good to hear people shout out their teammates and just be generally happy with the way the season's going so far. But I mean, week 1, 3-0 W, you can't really be much happier than that, honestly, if you're the Demon Kittens.
Now, that's the best way you could possibly start, is going out there, having a match, and winning in 3-0 fashion. That just, if anything, no matter whether you are this like super amazing team or if you are this middle of the pack team, it doesn't really matter. Getting that first win in 3-0 fashion, it immediately instills a level of confidence in you, whether you had it before or not. So obviously, you go in with some confidence. You got some tough competition later on, but if you can get through those first couple of matches, get yourself in the mid-season tournament, and be able to kind of go through a situation of be able to kind of limits test yourself and see, like, how do we do against the big dogs that have appeared this season and are trying to see if they can, win a championship. But either way, with it being week 1, unfortunately, all we can really do is just throw out speculation.
No, absolutely. But I expect Demon Kittens to be a strong competitor this entire season. Just, I mean, due to the fact they were last season, it's going to be fun to see a lot of these console teams play against these PC teams, just to see like what if there is a big difference there, because obviously we had Short Bus last year that finished 3rd in the PC Open tier, so I don't imagine there's really going to be that much of a difference between these teams.
Something we're obviously going to have to see a little further down the line here, but CGL still continuing within that first week. Still a lot of matches to come, whether you show up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to have matches going on, so if you get yourself a little tired, if you want to relax a little bit, watch some nice console action. OWCS is on break and doing their thing between some matches. You come here, you go and hang out, you get yourself some CGL tokens, you'll watch some amazing people do some amazing jobs, just like our production crew here today. Echo doing a great job at producing, and then Orange, as always, on the Observer doing a fantastic job as well. Shadowfang, either way, it's been a great day. It may have been 3-0 fashion, but it was entertaining nonetheless. But unfortunately, we cannot be here forever. There must eventually be a goodbye.